Oh, hello. It's currently 8:40 on Sunday, 28th of September, and I didn't pick up the camera at all today. And I think this weekend has been like a little bit of a it hasn't been a bad weekend, but I've spent a lot of time in my own brain. I love spending time in my own brain, but it makes me think of things in a way that today I'm a little bit frustrated on where we are and how I navigate the world and social media. I've had this ongoing battle with social media, um, especially Instagram. I don't have TikTok at all, but this like idea of doom scrolling, like I go in it and I feel good about it. I also re-downloaded stupid dating apps. And it made me like there's an instantaneous like, oh, it feels good to like release some sort of dopamine when I scroll, and it feels good at this moment in time, but there's always this thing that sits with everyone, like this is kind of bad. And it made me think, what are the effects of social media 20, 30 years down the line? Like, we don't even know the answer to that question ourselves yet. What is going to actually happen? And this is just another rant. This is raw thinking in my brain rather than like put in a legitimate script to talk about it. This is just what I'm thinking raw on the weekend, or this weekend, I guess. And this one is tailored around social media and it's the negative consequences that we are unaware of just yet. And I find myself being so captivated by strangers online. Like, I follow their story. I does it even matter? And the answer is, I guess it can be likened to storybooks and following people's, or a fictional character or a non-fictional autobiography of a person. And I think the medium that we consume, whether it's pictures or videos of complete strangers, can be likened to that. But there's still something that feels kind of icky about it. And I think that ickiness comes from the fact that maybe I know so much about random strangers' life, or at least I know about the stuff that they want me to know about by presenting it online, more than I do my own family and friends. Like, in my family, I have a history of, I'm not myself personally, but down the line, there's Alzheimer's basically in my family, which means that there's a good chance that I'm gonna get it. But as they say, the best time to get the best time to get Alzheimer's is in the future. So maybe there'll be a cure, but it doesn't mean that the people in my life that are suffering with it now, it I need to articulate this thought better. Um, I don't know how it feels to be someone that suffers from Alzheimer's. I assume it must be quite frustrating. But I think one of the hardest parts of it is the people around you and how they interact with basically watching someone that they love die in front of their eyes. It's a incredibly traumatizing experience, and it's exaggerated now. For me, I'm very far away from the people that I love, um, and it makes me scared that it's going to affect more people. And I live with this inner guilt, and I think this is where this comes from, where I spend more time catching up with random people on the internet than I do with my own people in my life. And there's always this fleeting thought that says, hey, maybe you won't have all the time you think you will with them. And that the same thing can be said that like they could die tomorrow. But I think there's a very real reality when you see other people with the disease. And I sit with, I should rather call XYZ rather than catching up with ABC online. But sometimes it's hard to call XYZ, and it's so much easier to just brain rot listening to ABC's story. And in that, there is guilt, at least for me. I feel it, and I hate it. And I feel like I want to blame someone. And I know that that's not fair to blame anyone for this. But that does make me think that my first default is tech companies. Like, what are they doing? Do they have people there that are thinking about what they're doing with the social media and how they're making it this intoxicating dopamine rush that majority of the world are addicted to? Are they genuinely considering that, or is the motive money and their businesses? And what is a business's job? The job is to make money. And there's such a heavy conflict there. And I think companies are trying, at least I want to believe that companies are trying to do better. Like, I look at the new Instagram update where you can pick out what your algorithm shows you, and you can actually, I'll put a picture here, you can choose what you are interested in and what you're not interested in. They released it like 2 days ago. And I think this is an effort to be like, oh, shit, we are potentially doing some bad stuff. Let's try and make it better for people. Let's try and give you stuff that you actually want rather than predicting what you actually want. And that for me says, hey, like, there's something potentially good going on here. And everyone kind of hates on Meta, but I think that was quite a strong move, and I actually really appreciate it. But I don't know if it's enough. And I don't think us mere humans are strong enough to just, maybe I'll speak for myself. I feel like I'm not strong enough just to get rid of all of these apps, to get off it completely. I find it very difficult. And I think, yeah, I don't know. It just makes me a little bit sad. The idea of like wasting time on stupid stuff. Anyway, I hope that, yeah, I don't know. I think one day we'll get into I worked in tech companies, and some of the reasons why I decided that studying ethics was important, at least for my own journey to, if I'm ever going to build tech again, I'm going to try and do a better job of it, because there are real humans that we are affecting, very real humans. And life is hard. Life is hard for a lot of people. I think I'm very fortunate. I really don't think my life is a drop in the ocean of like how hard some people's lives are. And damn, I just hope the tech they're using is not making their life any harder. Anyway, this is a long rant. It's a Sunday evening. Didn't really feel like, picking up the camera in a more joyful manner, and you didn't really want to see my workouts and my food today anyway. So we'll be back for our normal scheduled tech programming tomorrow. I'm gonna go have a shower. I'm also gonna turn some lights on because, geez, it looks like I live in a dungeon. Or it's like load shedding in South Africa. It's not. It's an active choice that the lights are off. Um, anyway, I will see you tomorrow, bright and early. If you got this far, thank you, I guess. I think I needed to just get this out.